So, today's episode is going to be all about abandoned mine shafts in Minecraft, and we're going to go through things like how you can find them, what you should take with you, things to do before you go, and what to do while you're there. Now, down in the video comments and in the description, I'll put timestamps so you guys can skip ahead to whichever part of the video is most relevant for you. But we are going to start out by the things that you want to do before you go, the things you want to take with you to be best prepared for the mine shaft. So what I've got on me here are some things that I would recommend that you take, and this will kind of depend where you're at in the game, right? Because some of you will be more advanced and have more items than others, so you kind of need to tailor this to yourself and your needs, but here's what I would suggest if you can. So we got here bulk torches, that's the first thing. Obviously mine shafts are very dark and I recommend lighting them up, but also I'm going to show you a little trick with torches so you can easily find your way out of them, because they can be very confusing places, so I would recommend taking a lot. We'll come on to the tip later on in the video. The other thing that you can take with you is some shulker boxes if you have access to them, because it will give you extra storage for all your goodies. Obviously you can get loads of loot, loads of mining and stuff like that, so it's definitely worth having. The next thing that I'd recommend is you might want to take a bed. These mine shafts, they might be quite far from wherever your base is. So if you sleep nearby, then you can make sure you respawn there, because let's face it, you might die. I mean, the cave spiders, the creepers around every corner, they can be dangerous places. So, you know, having your spawn nearby is definitely kind of a useful thing. Next up, I've got my ender chest. Now, again, this is if you're at that stage of the game, but obviously in an ender chest, you can hold tons of items. For example, I've got here loads of spare food, and I'm taking a lot of food on me, and that's really my next point as well, is to bring lots of food. Of course, in the end chest, you could just have tons and tons and tons of things that you may need, depending on how much you're going to be caving for, because often the mine shafts will interlink with caves and things, so if you're there for a good long time, then yeah, you can really pack that ender chest out. Now, one item I don't have on my inventory right now is milk. So obviously in abandoned mine shafts, you are going to get tons of cave spiders, and they're going to poison you. So the milk is the way to heal yourself. So depending on how comfortable you are at PvP and what type of armor you've got and that type of thing, you may want to take some milk with you. I'm opting out. We'll see how that goes later in the episode. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me and kill me. But yeah, so you might want to take milk. And that kind of links into my next point, which is your armor. So you definitely want the best diamond armor you can take with you, or at least I would say enchanted iron. Again, depends how good you are at PvP, but you're going to be faced with a lot in there, and it's better to go prepared. So take the best armor you can. You also might want an elytra with some rockets to get yourself to and from wherever this abandoned mine shaft will be, because they might be far away. And we're going to come on to how you find them in just a sec, and sort of the best way to find them, and also the best type of abandoned mine shaft to find, because there are sort of subtle differences between different ones, which yeah, we're going to come on to that. So also in my inventory, a bucket of water. Guys, always take water when you mine, okay? It's just good practice. You know, it helps with if there's any lava you need to cross, or if you get set on fire or anything like that. So just take a bucket of water. It's definitely a good thing, okay? And also shears. So in abandoned mine shafts, you'll get the spider webs, right? The cobwebs. Now, shears are the only way you can get them to use them for decoration. You can also use a sword, and that will actually turn them into string. So if you want tons of string, a sword might do. But as it's the best place to get all this cobweb, I would recommend taking shears and getting all that cobweb while you're there to use for decoration on your builds later on in the game, because that's kind of cool, right? It's a nice item to decorate with, particularly for, you know, Halloween builds or scary things or whatever. But obviously that's optional, and I've put Unbreaking 3 on mine. That also is optional. You could just take tons of shears with you, because let's face it, they're 2 iron each. Iron is not that hard. You can make iron farms. You get tons of it when you're mining, so, you know, use a bit of iron, get those shears, and obviously you'll get iron while you're there. So you may also want to take a furnace. Now this is another item that I'm not taking with me, but you might want to take a furnace to turn things into iron while you're there. If you're short of it, if you might need it for shears or buckets or armor or that kind of thing. What else is in my inventory? I think that's about it. I did also think you might want to take an axe with you. We're going to take a ton of torches, but abandoned mine shafts are a unique mining situation. You have loads of wood there. So with the axe, you can harvest all that wood, and you can turn it into a crafting bench if you need one of those while you're there. Might be a good idea to take a crafting bench with you, actually, but you do have the wood while you're there. You can also turn it into sticks and make more torches if you find you need them. So you should always take wood when you're mining. Abandoned mine shafts, if you take an axe, you're going to get wood while you're there. So that's just kind of a few little tips on what you could take with you. What we're going to do now is we're going to talk about the ways that you can find mine shafts, and also those subtle differences between them that I mentioned just a moment ago. So you're all geared up and you are ready to go and find yourself an abandoned mine shaft, and that's great, but where are you going to go? So here's a little tip that I can give you guys. We're going to head on over to Mine Atlas, and I'm going to show you something. I'll put a link in the description to this website. It's super easy to use, and yeah, let me show you this really quickly. Okay, so here we are. This is mineatlas.com, as I say, linked in the description. So what you can do is get yourself a new map and put in the seed, which for my world is Kysen. So we set the seed and it will generate just like this. Now, if we scroll way out here, we can drag this by clicking and just dragging and have a little look around for all different things, all different biomes and that type of thing. You see over here, you've got all different options, but what we're looking for right now is this orangey biome right here. And it says just in this location here, when I hover over it, that it is a mesa biome. There's a mesa plateau there as well. So let's jump back into the game. I'll explain why that's important and how you might find yourself a mineshaft here. So we are going to head off in that direction. And I should have mentioned, but you can get the coordinates on the Mine Atlas website as well. So you hover over and on the right hand side, it tells you the name of the biome and also the coordinates. So we can then head over to those by pressing F3. And I'm in F1 mode. If you're not in F1 mode, then you can see your coordinates there. And just heading over to the area that way. Now, why did I want a mesa? Well, a Badlands biome, which was formerly called a mesa, so that's what it's listed as on Mine Atlas, they have a higher likeliness of having a lot of gold in them. And you can find mine shafts, and you can find them at a higher Y level as well. They're often exposed in these biomes. So what we're going to do is head over in that direction. And if we do, find one there, A, it should be easier to find one if there is one there, and B, we will get more gold when we're there. Now, I absolutely promise you, I've not been to this mesa before, so I have no idea if we're going to find one or not. I'm going to chance it. But, guys, we don't want to just rely on that, right? So what we're going to do, on the way, we're going to fly so that we can see the surface. Now, the reason for that is you want to look out for a ravine. Because if you find a ravine, often you can look down inside one and you'll see a abandoned mineshaft. You'll see, the wood or some other rail or something to allude to the fact that, hey, there is a mineshaft down there. So if we see that, then we might explore that one, or at least make a note of the coordinates so that we can explore it later. Of course, the other way you might find an abandoned mineshaft is just when you're caving. Often they will interact with cave structures, so keep your eye out. You might find one then. And if you do find one early game, you're not quite prepared or ready at that stage to go and harvest all the resources and explore it, then take down the coordinates on your phone or write them down somewhere and use them later would be my tip. So let me go exploring. I'm going to head towards that mesa and let's see if we can find ourselves an abandoned mineshaft. So here we go. We are heading off to our coordinates, and I thought I might just quickly talk about the coordinates and how you can navigate from one set of coordinates to another, because I have been asked this a few times in the past. So basically, you can see here my coordinates on the left-hand side of the screen for X, Y, Z, and we're trying to head to an X coordinate of around about -5,000 and a Z coordinate of -7,000. Now that's the first little tip I'm going to give you. Don't worry about the exact number if you're trying to find a biome, especially it really doesn't matter. Just get a rough guess, so -5, -7 in my case. Now what I'm doing here is you can see as I'm flying along here that my X number is getting lower. So it's 700, now it's down in the 600s, and it's continually going down. Incidentally, this big square right here you saw, this is where I come to harvest all my sand on this server. You can join the server, by the way. The link is in the description if you're interested in that. But anyway, I digress. So that's getting lower and lower, and obviously eventually it'll get into negative numbers and get me down to -5,000 when I keep going this way. Now my Z is a lot closer to -7,000 than my X is to -5,000, right? So as you can see, I'm heading in a direction where my Z isn't moving too much. So it is getting larger, and by getting larger, I mean the negative number is getting bigger. So, it's -5,9, 18, now it's 19, and it's slowly going up. If I head in the right direction here, there we go. And I didn't mean to land, there we go. But basically the X coordinate is going down at a much faster rate because it's got further to go. And then you just hone in on it like that and you keep tweaking it and stuff. Try not to land in the water like I'm doing. And that's kind of how you do it. Guys, I hope that helped. I hope that was a useful little tip. If it was, then let me know. If it wasn't, let me know. Leave a comment description and I'll try and explain it better if I didn't do a good enough job. I'm going to try and stop drowning myself and head over to that mesa, and we'll see what we find once we get there. So, no ravines on the way, but we have arrived at the mesa biome. So I'm going to try and land somewhere where there aren't tons of mobs, so I can maybe get myself to sleep here. And as we said before, you do want to sleep nearby, but this isn't necessarily where I want to sleep because I don't know if this is nearby yet. I need to explore this biome. So I want to sleep kind of right at the entrance to wherever I'm going to get into this thing. So let's jump up here. We have a little explore around and see what we can see. And oh my goodness. Okay, I absolutely promise this was not done on purpose. This is sheer luck. But guys, I told you they are easier to find. Here we are. So look, we want to go in here. We can right click on Java mode and respawn, set our respawn point right there. and you know, that's fine. We don't actually have to, doesn't have to be nighttime and us actually sleeping. So we're like ready to go here. And in fact, there's a chest right there. That is awesome. Okay, so what we want to do, I'm actually going to get my end chest down here, I think, for now. Check, you know, everything I've got, get all my items and stuff together, and then we are going to explore this together, guys, and I'll give you tons of tips on what to do when you find one of these. Okay, so what I've done is gone ahead and dumped my elytra in there, also my rockets, because I'm not going to need those things while I'm exploring this, and I've put on my chest plate instead for that extra protection, and I've got all my torches ready, got some extra food out, so we're pretty much, you know, we're ready to go. We've got shears on us, some shulker boxes and stuff like that. We probably don't need ender pearls either on us, but they are, this is full right now, so yeah. So here we go, an abandoned mineshaft. First thing I would say to you is mark the entrance clearly. So I'm going to put a load of torches here, so whenever I see them, I know this is where my entrance is. Might also be worth taking a note of your coordinates, right? So you can see the coordinates here. This is where your entrance is. At least then you know where it is you want to be going. Now, first thing I would say is about the rail. You're going to get a ton of rail in here. If I were you, I would take it. I mean, it saves you having to craft it later. It saves you a ton of iron, and you're pretty much ready to go. Now, I wasn't expecting a spider spawner quite so early in the game, but we are going to talk about those right now. So, spider spawners, guys, I mean, look, it depends what you want to do, okay? You do not need to save them for later on in the game unless you're going to make a spider farm. Now, if you're going to make a spider farm with them, then go right ahead. And if you're watching this in the future, down in the comments and or video description, I will put a link to my video on how to make a spider farm, because I am doing that in an upcoming episode. But if you're not bothered about it, you can just destroy them, okay? You can destroy the spawners and not have to worry about those spiders. For me, I'm making a spider farm. I want the spawners, so it's a case of wanting to light this area up as best as I can, so that as few as possible spiders are actually going to spawn here. So we're going to do that right now. We're also going to go ahead and shears all of this stuff. As I said before, I want to use this for the building material. So yeah. Now I just like kind of spam torches all around here. It's probably a little bit overkill, but I just don't like these things. I hate to fight them. And also when I come back to make my spider farm, then I'm going to want to go ahead and, you know, have like a safe area, right? So as you can see here, I'm breaking 3 shears, are working really well, getting me tons of cobweb for building later on in the game. Now, it is highly unlikely that you'll be in the situation that I was just in, whereby you're going to have an entrance right here and then a spider spawner that close. So you might do all of them in different ways, you know, depending on that. But basically, let's just go ahead and get this loot. Is there anything here we want? It depends, again, what you need and stuff. We'll take everything for now. We can always return this stuff later. As this is so close to my entranceway, I'm not going to worry about picking this up right now. But obviously, if you want the minecart and the rail and stuff, go ahead and pick that up. Now, this is a little bit messy. What I was going to suggest is the little torch trick is when you're running through a mineshaft or any type of caving, what you could do is always place your torches on the left-hand wall, okay? Now, if you do that, whenever you are trying to return back to the entrance or wherever you started mining or whatever the case may be, so long as you keep these torches on the right-hand side like this, you know you're heading in the right direction. So that is something that you can definitely do to find your way in and out of mineshafts and caves if you're doing that. Also, you can also take like signs, for example, right? You can take signs and give yourself directions or arrows or something like that. Okay, so here we go. We're going to head through here. We're going to light up as much as we can as we go, and I'm out of torches. Let's replace that as a spider comes for us. Now, you'll notice back there that we had gold, because, as I mentioned before, gold will spawn at a higher Y level in these mineshafts. This is why we came to the Badlands, guys. Yes, it's further to go, but look at this. There's 4 gold right there. That could be 8 if we go behind. There's another 5 right here. That's going to be more when we go behind. So why not get yourself... There's more here. Why not get yourself tons of gold whilst you're doing this? You know, it's just extra resources. So what I do is I kind of go along like this until I reach a dead end. Then I mine out the gold. Now again, if I was placing the torches here on the left hand side as I came, keep them on the right and head back, and I would know my way back. Obviously, at this stage of the video, you're like, well, duh, it's pretty obvious. But as you go through these things, you'll know if you've ever explored one before, they can get kind of complicated. So that's just a little tip. Oh, my goodness, I was not expecting that. And I'm poisoned already. So this is where you might want milk. Now, I'm wondering how he spawned there. Is there like another spawner here? Or I guess he was just one left over from earlier. Okay, I think we're safe. I'm going to go ahead and get this gold, get some more of these things, and then we'll come on to some more tips of exploring the mineshaft. So, very shortly after recording my last clip, I actually came across this room right here. I just want to check there's nothing down here. It looks like we're good. we are going to block that off. I know I put a torch there, but I can see it's dark there. But yeah, this room right here is an important room, and not just because there's a skeleton in there. This is the dirt room, and every single I mean abandoned mineshaft, will have one. Now, what the importance of that is that if you have not found this room in your abandoned mineshaft, then you have not explored the entire abandoned mineshaft. And the reason I bring that up is because if that is your goal, if you're trying to make sure you've explored the whole thing, then you do want to make sure that you've found this room. Now, if you find 2 of these rooms, then it means there are 2 abandoned mineshafts very close together that are intersecting. Now, from this room, you can see we can go off in all different directions and explore, which we will. You are also seeing there is a ton of gold around here, just everywhere. So yeah, again, lots of gold in these things, which is why we wanted to come to this one. So basically make sure you find this room. Now, the other thing as well is sometimes in abandoned mineshafts, you'll explore them and you won't find this room. And it's basically because the way the tunnels are working out, they are blocked off and stuff. So if you find that and you are trying to explore the whole mineshaft, you haven't found this room, you feel like there's more, what I'd recommend is you're in an area like this where it's like clearly an abandoned mineshaft. First of all, dig off through the walls a little bit, see what you can see. We can see if we go down here, it looks like there's stuff going on there. The other thing you can do is take out the wood if there's wood on the floor, because wood is not meant to be on the floor, wood is meant to be on the ceiling. So sometimes when these things generate, what happens is these blocks here end up a little bit too high or too low, depending on how you think about it, I guess. And there is mineshaft underneath. Now, if we go down here, you'll see there is a mineshaft here. Now, this is where we were exploring before. How do I know that? Because we lit it up. Tips coming back round, you see. But in all seriousness, this is a very useful thing to do if you are trying to make sure that you do find the entire mineshaft. So I'm just giving you tips and tricks as I go, guys. Hopefully as many of these are as useful to you as possible. If you have any questions about mineshafts, then do leave them down in the comments. I am going to keep on exploring this one, and let's see what else we can find. Well, guys, opening loot chests is always fun, so let's do another one on camp, see what we get. Another name tag, pretty cool. Now, if my inventory is looking a little bit empty, the reason for that is it's all in here. No, in here. There we go. It's in one of my shulkers. I knew that. So it's all gone in there. So I'll show you at the end all of the items that we got. If I find any loot chests, I'll open them on cam because, let's face it, how many loot chests do you actually open in a Minecraft world? I mean, really, like maybe 50 in your whole game? Like, if you don't explore a lot like me, I guess I don't explore a lot. Let me know in the comments, how many boxes do you reckon you'll open? Loot boxes this is, so, nether fortresses, obviously mineshafts, dungeons, that kind of thing. How many of those do you reckon you open in your game? I'll be interested to see what you guys think of that, so leave me a comment on that. I'm going to keep exploring, and if I do open any more while I'm here, you'll definitely see that. And as I say, if I think of any other little tips and things as I go, you'll see that as well. So guys, we're now back to where we started. There's the entrance just behind me, and we've explored just about all of this mineshaft. So one thing to do right now is let's look at what loot we actually got from this thing. Now, I guess the notable things would be, I'm just trying to get this in some sort of order, the 2 name tags, obviously very cool. You've got loads of rail, which I really like because I am using a lot of rail, so, just saves me having to make it and saves you iron early game. The big thing is the gold ore, right? I didn't find that here. I brought that with me. The gold ore. This is a lot of gold ore. And it's, in a normal mineshaft, you might get like that. So it's like 2 stacks extra. Literally, you're not going to find that much. So that's what I recommend if you head over to a mesa. A, the mineshafts can be easy to find. B, you're just going to get all that gold. Plus, I mean, why not, right? Then you found a mesa, which is cool. Now, on that, I am going to put links to Mine Atlas down in the wiki if you guys want to do that. If you're wondering how you get your seed, you just /seed. Oh, wait, I'm on a server. Okay, this works in single player. Okay, I'm not op on the server, so I can't do this. I'm not opt because I want to play vanilla, right, to do the episodes for you guys. So, yeah, /seed will work for you in vanilla. Also, it will work if you are op. If you need the server seed, you can ask the guys. They might give it to you or whatever. But you can use Mine Atlas for that. I'm also going to put a link down in the description to the wiki if you guys are interested in that. I just want to say as well, sorry, that's the wiki for Mineshafts, just to be clear. So I have 2 Silk Touch tools on me, right? I just want to answer a question that I think some people may ask. No, Silk Touch does not work on like Cobweb, right? So it has to be shears. That's why we brought shears. You can't double up and bring a Silk Touch pick and it does, the mining stuff and the shears stuff. No, you do have to bring shears, I'm afraid. But you can see, I mean, I'm breaking 3 on these, right? So you can see the durability right there. I mean, this is how much I got, right? A stack plus 15. and it barely touched the durability. So you don't need loads of shears, okay? One will probably do you. So guys, that's about all the information here today. If you liked this episode and found it helpful, please do consider liking and subscribing. It really is greatly appreciated. And guys, we are so close to 10k subs. I'm excited and I'm happy, and it's an awesome milestone to get near. So if you haven't subbed yet, please do consider helping me out. But that's all for today's episode, guys. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.